All right. All right. Anyway, so positioning. Sorry for that. Now, for example, if a witness is speaking very, very softly, very quiet, and there's like a distance between that, or they're gonna start turning on and move their head, that's where you might just start have some problems to hear everything. You must tell them as well that they have to speak louder or face towards you, right? In another situations when you are placed maybe too far, it can happen as well from the client. And now you are involved in like whispering. So in that case, yeah, you can again request to adjust the seatings, or you can request for a better position to be like, so the message can be actual functional and it can be accurate, right? So you have a lot of rights in the courtroom to adjust everything, so your interpretation can be the best as possible. Right? Professional language. Well, there is a lot of professional language. There's a lot of intervention protocols. So it's not something that it's just an option. Well, it's kind of, it's going to be part of your role, right? So formally, you will use a lot of paper forms. That's one of the things. So one of the proper channels in the professional language will be papers, documents, reports, and you will need to provide the site translations. Right? A lot of those usually will address directly to the judge. So if there will be any statements from the clients and you have to site translate that, that's where you can provide it. Well, again, another one will be how do you provide the interpretation itself? So simultaneous, or whispering, or consecutive. So that's also different things. Now, regarding the actual speech, you never raise your voice. You cannot show like you're frustrated and start yelling or speak in a casual language, right? So you don't want to make any acronyms, any shortcuts. You have to still provide the same statements. The sentence need to be correct. So every intervention should sound professionally, because the courtroom, and that you have a control over the words, so not in the emotions. If you are angry about something or sad, well, you still need to try to say it, to calm your voice down. So it's kind of like showing also the people, well, that you're a professional, and you can maintain professionalism. And the court, the judges, will also take your request more seriously. If you will start be emotional and you start yelling, or telling people, hey, don't talk like that, you're speaking too fast, so yeah, that they might to not react very friendly to that. So let's say if you will have to stop someone, yeah, you can say, you honor the interpreter request that the speaker slow down for the accurate interpretation. Right? So basically, to all your interventions, whenever you need to tell something and stop people, you always want to protect yourself with that magic accurate interpretation thingy at the end. So yeah, you can always say that to speakers, can slow down, Speakers can speak one at a time for accuracy of the interpretation, for example, right? If something is unclear or there is something is missing, so again, the interpreter requests for clarification, for accuracy, right? If people are speaking again, so interpreters, there's always that the interpreter request, and then you can address the problem, right? Another thing that is coming up to like the whole protocols and language, it's gonna be time. It's gonna be time. So you should, if you need the breaks, usually they are doing the breaks. So it's not like always you can ask for the break, but the breaks are happening during the court proceedings. So you can be at least aware of that. I believe they have the short breaks, then they have like 1 hour lunch break. So that's something that can help eventually also give you time to rest a little bit, right? Now, when it comes to interventions, so whenever you're providing interpretation and you speak with your pauses, for example, and you will provide the interpretation. So you here need to also look how the sentences are structured and what is also the best time for stopping or interruptions, right? So definitely you do not want to stop people when they're in this statement in the middle of like critical statements, right? If it's not like very important, it's not necessary to stop people doing that. So you need to wait. You always want to let people finish the sentence, at least if you want to stop them with anything, right? So that's kind of help, like the for the records, for the transcription, everything will be recorded. The statement is fully enclosed, and now you can choose that's the right time for the break, maybe. So that's pretty much how that works for you as an interpreter when you'll be in the courtroom, right? Again, the courtroom itself is, you have to keep in mind always that this is a legal environment, and everything's very formal. Everything's very formal, and all participants, you guys all play your own role, so right. So interactions between people are very limited, regulated, and that is basically to keep that fairness, to keep that accuracy, and well, it's also like the entire respect for the process, right? But there is no casual conversations during that time. So that's something that you have to keep in mind. Okay. All right, let's hop into the roles. So who is who and what you will see. So we have our roles. All the roles have the responsibilities. So courtroom participants pretty much have all those roles defined, right? And the interpreter's responsibility is still to set themselves up close to the person, still provide your accurate interpretation, of course, being neutral. And you are pretty much one of those managers who will support the whole proceedings to go pretty smooth, right? Now, one of the biggest mistakes that usually interpreters make is whenever they try to step outside of the room. So now you have all that power, and you try to maybe school people or tell them your idea for something. You might have a good intentions for that, but it will be still mistake because you do not want to like overstep your role, right? So because everyone in the courtroom know their roles, and they all know what to do, that's where pretty much you have your responsibility, you have your duties, and you don't want to step out of your now to overlap the roles, right? So starting from the judges, well, those are the big bosses here. So that's the whole authority and controlling procedure person. So the judge is the whole central person of the courtroom. Their main role, they pretty much ensure that the proceedings follows the law. Everything remains in order, right? So everything is conducted in a fair way. So they are pretty much in charge of that. If there is, for example, a criminal setting, a criminal case, the judge of also is the person who might to determine if the like the sentencing of the person, right? In the civil cases, the judge decides about the outcomes. So they making the decisions, right? So every action, everything in the courtroom is going through the judge authority into their hands. Now, if you look from your perspective as an interpreter, the judge is most important figure, and you have to be aware of them all the time, right? You cannot forget who are they, and you cannot just, again, overstep your boundaries or something. So any request that you will make about like clarifying, about asking, about slowing down people about the position, right? So everything should be always directed to the judge. You're not directing that to anyone else. You're directing this to the judge. He's the boss. You're asking them. And every time you have to proceed with interpreter is asking in a third person that everything need to be directed to the judge, right? Now, it's not just that because you are a nice person, but this is part of their protocol. So that's the part of the procedure where the judge is that important person, and now, well, everyone need to ask them. If you will skip the judge, well, you will start asking the lawyer, or maybe whispering to the lawyer's office, to the lawyer's ears, your random questions. Well, the judge gonna see that eventually, and that will only show that your professionalism is pretty poor, and well, you're maybe not the best fit for the role, right? So the judges are like, yeah, they can judge you pretty quickly for what you're doing. Since they're working with interpreters pretty much every day, they know the protocol, they know how to work with you. So probably the judge will be the last person that you have to worry about at the courtroom. So that's for the judge. Now, whenever we're talking about the positioning yourself again, so if you should always be positioned where you can clearly hear the judge, right? So it's not you just now only want to hear the client, but you want to hear the judge as well. You need to see the judge, so they still need to be in your range of sight, right? Their expressions, their tone, well, that's also something that you have to look for. You are also observing that, and you are formatting those questions from the judge to the client, or the statements in the same way, right? Um, so now you are not only fully accessible person for the client, but now also for the judge. So definitely do never like don't stand, like do not sit or stand like turning your back away from the judge. You don't want to do that. All right, now we have lawyers. So these guys are responsible for presenting the arguments. So they're presenting the arguments, they're presenting the questioning, they questioning the witnesses, they're advocating for people. So they are there for their clients. In criminal court, the crown prosecutor, which is pretty much representing, let's say, the province, and then we have defense counsel, who will represent the accused person, right? So they're not always called lawyers. They can be crown prosecutors, or the defense counsels. If you'll be in the civil court, the lawyers represent, well, most likely opposite parties. Same at the family court. So in that case, usually, yeah, those are the lawyers. You as an interpreter, well, the lawyers are usually the most challenging speakers, because they, first of all, they speak fast. They do not care pretty much about anyone else. They will start using complex, difficult legal terminology. They will randomly interrupt you. They will hop in and overlap with you in the wordings, right? So they will drop some objections here and there. And if there's, for example, a cross-examination and now you are involved in that, so it's kind of going to be a lot of questions coming to the person and very, very little time to provide interpretation. There will be a question after a question after the question after the questions. And the reason usually for that is that that's how they operate, because that's kind of their protocol to figure out how the person that is questioned is acting, for example. If it's accused person, they try to figure out if everything is a lie or not, for example. They have their own psychological tactics where whenever they doing that, and now just because there is an interpreter, they usually will not slow down. They will not try to adjust to you. So you have to keep in mind that yeah, sometimes you have to slow them down. You have to slow them down. All right, so those guys are also pretty much impacting the whole workload, right? They are also responsible for all the, like, those difficult questions. So that is also something you have to keep in mind. So to be ready to work with lawyers, they might be a little bit more friendly in the law office, but not always. Definitely, they are not your best friends in the courtroom. They're not. They're just going with their flow. So that's where, like, the audio and visual, you have to be aware of that. You have to make notes quickly. You have to keep remembering things. So short memory will be on the on the high volume here. And well, there might be not many options where you're gonna start asking, can you repeat the question, or interpreter is asking for clarification, right? So it's good to tell and spread those roles. Again, you as the manager, it's always good to tell at the very beginning like, please speak one at a time. I'm here for the accuracy and stuff, so it will just help, right? All right, the next ones we have now defendants and accused, the main roles of the court procedures. So the defendant is the individual who is being like heard in a criminal court. So they might be in custody, they might be in jail already, or they're gonna like randomly appearing over there as well, right? Brought by the officers or something. So their understanding of that procedure in the courtroom is pretty much critical. So whenever you are involved in that, you are playing that pretty important role for them. So the difference between the defendant and other participant of the courtroom, it's on the, well, the interpreter need to follow what are they saying, as it's very important. And so you kind of follow up with them in the real time. Right, so that kind of creates that I would say kind of like a bond, right? Like you have to work together. Now you also will have two options. So option number one, the option number one is consecutive interpretation. The option number two, more technical, will be the simultaneous interpretation, where the whispering can also be involved in it, right? So the defendant may also try to communicate directly to you. They will start asking the questions, or they also will start asking for the clarifications. And in that case, well, again, you have to keep your boundaries. You are not there for that. So if something like this is happening, you will have to tell them that you are not there for this, and that role belongs to the lawyer, right? So all the communication between you and the defendant will be on the record, and will be in the transcript as well. So everyone are pretty much know whenever there is an open dialogue to you, right? Now, if we look on the position, you are usually be seated next to the person or behind, right? So again, you still need to watch the judge. You still need to have the person, the defendant, in your around you, and that kind of allow you, if there is a needed, it will allow you to provide an interpretation as best as possible. So your position, usually the court clerk will help you out how to proceed with that, and then you can, like, whenever they're gonna sit, just keep in mind that you can isolate all other voices away from yourself and just focus on the defendant person. In that case, right? All right. Now we have witnesses. So witnesses provide the whole testimony. The witness will speak different, and that's where you, as an interpreter, you need to be ready for this. So here we are now start doing interpretation for all those people who will start to hesitate with their answers. You will start now hear those emotions in their voice, different narratives, the words, they're gonna stop mid-sentence, a lot of different statements gonna be provided. They will maybe mistaken and then they try to fix that. So here you have to be absolutely focused. If you are providing interpretation for a witness, you must one-to-one mirror that person. That is very, very important, and that is something that the lawyers and the judge are looking at, because they are trained how to listen to the witnesses and how to watch their testimony for them is changing to telling the story. And that's where we were also kind of talking about this before, about that imagination and how you can structure the movie in your head based on the statement of the witness, right? Again, for you as an interpreter, the witness will usually be in the consecutive interpretation system. So as far as I hear, there's maybe 1 out of 100 where there's simultaneous interpretation. So usually it's a consecutive interpretation. So here you are the person who will control like the length, you will put the segmentation here, you will be sure that everything's clear, everything's accurate, everything is said as it's supposed to be. All the emotional testimonies from the witnesses can like making it a little bit more difficult to translate, right? And your accuracy also can be a little bit not on the right track whenever you try to deliver the same emotional testimony. So in that case, you need to just be aware of that, be alert, because witnesses directly will impact your short memory and how are you going to speak. And if there is a lot of sensitive testimonies from them, yeah, it can happen, right? You also need to be ready that they're going to keep talking. So they can speak for a little bit too long and there'll be no pause anymore. And that's where, again, this your judgment need to come in and when to stop them, when to intervene their statement. So now, again, that's where that chunking is coming up. That's where you're putting the segmentation of the sentences and how you making the notes, right? How much you can handle using your short memory and active listening to provide the interpretation, right? So this is pretty much individually depends on the interpreter when you can stop them. So definitely something that you can practice, especially if you are providing let's say the WCB appointments. That's where you can start setting those boundaries for yourself. Like, okay, maybe I should let them speak 1 more sentence more or 2 more sentences more, right? So eventually, if you're gonna keep training in that, your brain gonna train, your memory will train as well, and that's where it will help you, right? But yeah, at the courtroom, the witnesses will probably start telling the stories and their statement can go forever. So just keep that in mind. Now, if something is unclear, again, you have to ask for repetition. You need to have a clarification because those statements are pretty critical. Based on those statements and your interpretation, if there will be a mistake in that, well, the accused person there might be some life-changing ending for them, right? So just keep that in mind. Now, whenever you are positioning around the witness, so again, you are always close to them, right? Again, you need a clear line of sight because you will be, if you are translating for the witness, you will not be translating for the accused person. For example, now we are currently looking for interpreters in Edmonton, and we will use 3 different interpreters for the same case. So we're gonna have one witness for the accused person, one for the witness, and one for the defendant. Right. So yeah, sorry for the yeah, for one for the accused, one for the other ones I think for family members. But yeah, 3 different interpreters. So because of the conflict of interest and ethics, the same interpreter cannot provide interpretation for those two individuals, right? All right, now we have the court clerk. So the court clerk, well, those are your friends. Those are the guys that you're coming to the courtroom, and usually these guys are the first one sitting in the courtroom before everyone else arrived. And the court clerk has all the information that you need. So they are those administrative managers of the courtroom. They know about the whole procedures. They know about the case. Okay. They know about the charges. So if you need any questions, any clarification before the proceeding starts, court clerk is your person. These are you guys that will help you out, right? They are not involved like actively in the proceeding, so they're not usually speak that much as the lawyers or the judges, but they provide instructions. So they are the people who will, for example, they will read the charges at the beginning of the case, right? They are the people who deliver that oath. So that's where you have to swear, and probably those are the people who like holding the Bible or doing the oaths and swearing, right? So those are the same people. The clerks also they also help to maintain order. So there is that whenever there is the changes, the transitions between different stages, like going for a break, coming back from the break. So they are pretty much the managers over there, and to position yourself towards the court clerk, well, you still need to hear them. They usually gonna put you somewhere close to so they can see you as well. But again, you need to clearly hear what are they saying, because if they start talking about the charges and stuff, and you are now translating for the accused person, you have to provide that as well, right? So during all those formal steps, that formal time, that when the swearing is happening, or the official statements are happening, you need to focus on these people. So most likely they will be start talking somewhere close to you as well, right? Next one, the reporters. So the court reporters are those guys who are doing the transcription. So this is the entire courtroom transcription system, and they are recording. So those are the people who creates the official record that everything was said during the procedure. Pretty much everything, right? For you as an interpreter, everything that you will interpret, keep in mind that will be recorded. It's going to be officially recorded. So if you start saying, I hope not, but let's say, for example, hypothetically speaking, you are a very angry interpreter, and you want the person to go to jail, and you will start interpreting not the actual sentences, not correct sentences. Well, those stuffs will be recorded, and later on, people can hear it in the transcript. There will be another maybe translator, interpreter hired by the court or the lawyers to check if the interpreter was right, if the interpreter was accurate, if the interpreter provided good statements, right? So from your perspective, there is, like, whatever you will say, everything will be recorded. So there is no room for you to make mistakes here. If you will make a mistake, you will need to say that right away. Okay? Because even if you make a little tiny mistake, it will become part of that Parliament legal transcript. And if you will not fix your mistake, it will stay on. So you have to keep that in mind. Okay. Regarding positioning yourself towards them, well, you actually do not interact with them. They are just sitting somewhere there. So in this case, you just need to be sure that your interpretation is clear, your interpretation is loud enough that everyone can hear you, and well, you are aligned like in the proper way with the speakers, right? So that's the only thing. But the court reporters are, yeah, they're just sitting somewhere there. They're just doing their job pretty much. Now we have the observers. So all the observers here we can take public. So again, whoever want to come to that, if it's open room, open door courtroom, anyone from the public and from the street can come in. Family members, reporters, you name it. All the observers who are sitting at the back, those are the people. They are not official participants. They are they're just there to watch. Now, the problem is that even if they're not official participants, they can create a chaos, and they can affect the entire environment. And well, for you, it's going to be a pure chaos, right? Because now, let's say maybe family members who will not agree with the charges, or will not agree with the testimonies or statements. Now they're going to start yelling, and they're going to start talking loud. Maybe the public, people from the random, will start yelling, "Hey, he's not guilty," and well, eventually they're going to get removed from the courtroom. But still, they might create a little mess. So for you, the best way is to filter them out. Absolutely, totally filter them out. You are not obligated to do any translation for them. They are just the observers, nothing else. There is no official role for them. So just keep that in mind, right? So pretty much, like, as an interpreter, this group of people will, yes, they will provide some distraction. They will try to disrupt the whole proceeding, maybe. You have to stay calm here. Do not show your anger or your frustration. Definitely never, ever, ever do not engage with them. Any communication that is done, all the communication need to be done through the court, through the judge. So you cannot just randomly tell them, "Hey, be quiet." No, you can't. You cannot talk to them. You have to you have to adjust yourself and just imagine yourself that these people do not exist. Well, obviously, probably going to be difficult on the beginning, but eventually, I guess. I mean, we are human. We are pretty good at learning how to ignore people. So, uh, yes, we can do that. Now, based on the observers, where would you? And if we're talking about positioning the interpreter over there, uh, well, you do not care. You're not aligned with them. You're still there for the main person or the main people of that. So uh, you do not care too much about them, right? Uh, Now, as an interpreter, you are the person who will be assigned to the client. So that means you are not the part of the defense, or you're not the part of the prosecution. So keep that in mind. That's where we're talking all the time about being neutral here and do not make any assumptions, no judgment. You are not the assistant of any of these people. You are absolutely neutral person who is there for communication. Okay. Your main role and your main task over there is you have to be sure that accurate message is delivered in both languages without any barriers, right? So that's your main role, nothing else. Now, if again, when you have to position yourself as an interpreter, well, usually the court clerks can help you out. You'll be next to the defendant for ongoing interpretation. Again, different types. You're gonna be somewhere near to the witness if there is their testimony, if you are for them, and centrally you are in the center to address to the court, so everyone can hear what are you saying, right? Your position itself, whenever they're gonna put you once on the spot, it should not change. Usually that position doesn't change, and you don't have to swap places anymore. Okay, so you don't have to worry about it. Now, regarding also the roles and the courtroom system, well, I think we talked about this, how we can have the difference between like the provincial and federal court. So again, the provincial courts are handle all majority of the cases. Let's say traffic violations, family law matters, any small claims, most criminal cases. So most of them, but not all of them. So if there is a serious offense on the higher level, well, it's going way up than the provincial, right? So these courts are pretty much often have the high volume of the cases. They're running on that daily. There's hundreds of cases, and you as an interpreter, eventually you might be involved in that and run those few cases per day or per week or maybe per month. It all depends, right? Interpreters in the provincial court, that's a very fast-paced environment. So you might be assigned, let's say in the same courtroom, you might be assigned to a few different cases. So pretty much you're not leaving the courtroom. You're not moving around. You were just staying at the courtroom, but there is like 4 or 5 cases for the same language, and those cases might be assigned on the same day. But that's usually when you actually working for the court, when you are hired by the court and you're working for the court. Let's say if you're working with us, usually it did not happen. I haven't noticed something that interpreter was staying the whole day to interpret for the language. They're usually looking for one case and that's all. Now, the federal courts and everything above, well, those courts again, they have all those very serious criminal cases. They're running all the appeals, constitutional matter, any federal legal problems like immigration, taxation. So they are kind of like doing the serious stuff, right? Now, in those courts, the proceedings can be longer. There can be longer because there is more happening over there, and there's more into the case. So again, if you are at the provincial court, you might be in the same courtroom, let's say maybe with the 4 or 5 different interpreters, 4 or 5 different cases regarding the traffic violation, right? So they're just going one by one, one by one, one by one. And those cases can, they can end after 30 minutes, after an hour. If we're going to federal court, well, here those proceedings can go for a full day. That's where you're sitting there for 8 hours, 6 hours. The legal atmosphere, the legal language is more complex. It's a little bit different. It's more like a higher level, I would say. It's a little bit higher level. Also, for those court cases, interpreters need to be more skilled. Again, your technical legal terminology, well, it's not just basic anymore. You need to know something to jump into those courts. Cases might be very, very serious. So again, not the traffic violation, but now we can say maybe, I don't know, a triple homicide, right? So that's the difference between the courts here. So for those courts, usually we hiring like full professionals. We also work a lot with the actual certified interpreters who, let's say, work for the court for the last 20 years. So it's not something that we can just randomly send you over there and say like, oh yeah, good luck, you will do great, right? No, it doesn't work like that. So that's the difference between them. So if we look again, provincial court, well, it's very, very fast. So speed and volume of the cases, a lot of cases. If we go to federal court, well, that's the complexity. That is the professionalism, terminology, technical problems, right? So that's where the interpreters currently with our tiers that we are using for that, you need to be at least tier 4+, between 4+ and 6. And that's where you can hop into the court for those cases to federal court. That's why it's so serious. All right. Questions so far? No questions? No, we're good. All right. I think professional conduct. So, courtroom ethics. Again, it's a formal behavior, a lot of formal, respectful communication. Clothing, you have to be dressed up appropriate to the situation, of course. Protocols, very strict. Professional conduct, credibility, authority, you name it. It's serious. It's very serious. And how you can get ready for this. So if you are in the court and before you even speak, believe me, you'll be already evaluated by the people. They will already look how you're dressed up, how do you sit, how do you carry yourself. Judges will see that right away. They are looking for those things. So definitely you don't want to go to the courtroom right after a big party on the Sunday or wearing your Crocs. You don't want to do that. You want to be dressed up in a professional way and act professionally, right? Uh, formal, a formal business dressing, that's what usually help. Again, you're not going to see the president, but still you have to show some respect to the judge and to the courtroom itself, right? So fancy, flashy stuff. You want to be neutral. You want to be professional. So again, no diamonds in your ears, or big diamond necklace or golden necklaces on your shirt. You don't want that. That's something you want to avoid. Your phone should be shut down, turned off, or silenced before you enter the courtroom. Keep that in mind. The last thing you want to have is someone gonna call you in the middle of the proceeding, and it's gonna be loud, ringing. They don't like that. Now, your body language. So you still want to be natural, but you want to show that you are maintaining the focus in the situations. So definitely do not try to please don't fall asleep. That's something that we don't want to. You want to avoid any unnecessary movements as well. You don't want to start and interrupting people. You do not want to roll your eyes when you hear something. You have to be absolutely natural and neutral to that, right? Now, the courtroom and the cases will be tense. They can be very tense. They will be emotional. There's a lot of confrontation over there. So again, you don't want to show those emotions. You want to be pretty steady. Do not react to the statements. You are just doing the interpretation over there, right? So the better you're gonna show yourself in a professional way, the better they're gonna remember you, right? They will remember you. Oh, that person did a great job. That person looked pretty good, decent, and act professionally. And then suddenly there will be another interpreter that's gonna just come dressed up in their Crocs, having the coffee with them, and act casually, and they will say, "Well, I'm still the best interpreter." Well, no one cares at this point. So just keep in mind that you want to be professional in that, right? Whenever you arrive, so that is something very important, and that's what we also currently fighting with a lot. There's a big difference between arriving to the court and entering the courtroom. There are two different things. Okay, so if you are scheduled for 9 a.m., that means you must be in the courtroom at 9 a.m. It doesn't mean you have to be entering the court building at 9 a.m. Now, the reason why is most of the time, especially in the morning times, when all the employees of the court building, they also go into work, and every single time, whoever is entering the court need to go through the safety check. You will guys go through security. It's the same procedure like the airport, pretty much. You have the gates. You have to scan your staff. You don't want to have any loose metal objects anywhere on you. So it's pretty much identical, same procedure as an airport gate. Now, if there is 100 people in the line at 8:55, and suddenly you're gonna show up there as the last one, and now you have to wait. So by the time they are finished, you're gonna be at the courtroom at 9:30. So just keep that in mind. 15, 20 minutes ahead is the best approach to be in the building, right? So that will kind of give you that extra time just to get. Also keep in mind that probably you will need to use an elevator. You have to wait for that. Now it depends on which floor you go in. Maybe you will get lost somewhere on the way. So there's a lot of different aspects that arriving to the court building, it's not the same as arriving to the courtroom. So just keep that in mind. It's very important because the main problem that we are facing currently working with interpreters and the court in Calgary and Edmonton is that a lot of cases is getting canceled, dismissed 5 minutes after they start. If the interpreter is not there, it's starting at 9 and it's a 9:05 and they will not see the interpreter, they're canceling the entire procedure. It's done. It's over. They do not, even if you're gonna show up on the 9:05, 9:06, it doesn't matter anymore. If the judge will say, okay, dismissed, it's done, it's over. The reason why that most of the provincial courts, like I just mentioned about the volume and the speed, is that there is 100 cases going daily through that courtroom. And they simply do not have time to wait just for you. It's they just don't. And it doesn't matter actually if it's you or someone else. Maybe the witness will get late. Same thing, they got a counsel, right? But from our perspective, since we are working in this environment, you as an interpreter, just keep in mind that the time is very, very crucial over there. Very important. For WCB casual sessions, yes, you're coming late 10 minutes, 15 minutes later, sometimes 30 minutes later. Yeah, Peter gonna say something, but eventually, you are kind of safe. By the way, you're not. I keep records. But for the legal, yeah, it's very important. You guys need to keep that in mind. If you're scheduled for 9 or 10, be there at least those 20 minutes ahead before. Okay. Now entering. So again, do not stress out, do not panic, do not run to the courtroom, do not rush anything. Definitely you don't want to try to bring all and draw all the attention to like, hey, it's me, interpreter, look at me. You don't want that. Position yourself. So again, you can sit down somewhere in the free spot, or you can approach the court clerk and ask them where you're supposed to sit now when you are interpreting for the person. And they will help you out as well, right? The entire courtroom, usually, you want to enter quietly. You don't want to show yourself and still stay professional, right? So that's something that is very important. All right, so now when we are there, and how's our appearance and the presentation? So the courtrooms operate on the tradition, and appearance is part kind of the tradition, right? So the interpreters are expected to be dressed properly to reflect the seriousness of the situation. Nothing distracting, nothing too casual. So no Crocs, nothing too flashy. No standing out. You don't want to show off yourself, right? For that, also, we are looking at your posture, at your eye contact, the general presentation of yourself. So you don't want to look at the judge with the mean eyes, like you want to just, beat them up or something. You don't want to do that. Be neutral. Be yourself. Be neutral. Do not panic. Avoid any side conversation. You don't want that. No side conversation. Right? Don't bring coffee with you. Definitely do not bring coffee with you, or like the lunch box or something. Don't do that. Again, no electronics. So avoid to bring the laptops or anything with you. If you want to make notes, a notebook, a piece of paper, and a pen most of the time. Your phones, quiet or shut down totally. Usually before the courtrooms, if there is a serious situation, a serious case, and there are any charges, again, I'm helping out. So before that, I will contact you and I will tell you, these are the charges. This is the definition of the charges. This is what you can expect. These are the red flags. And here is the glossary of the most common used words during that procedure. So I will try to prepare you a little bit. So that means you do not actually have to tell the judge, sorry, I need to turn on my phone to Google the word to check it out. You don't want that. If you will need any information, it's better to print them out and keep them on the paper in your notebook. So that's something that that you can keep in mind, right? Now, when we are all formally professional, looking and behaving, now we have the speech. So the whole formal language. Well, when you speak in the courtroom, everything matters. Like we just said, everything is recorded, everything matters. So your tone must be clear. You need to act neutral, controlled, professional. No slang, no expressions, no rolling eyes, no casual language, no interruptions. So all communication should follow the courtroom formal procedures. Okay. Again, when you're addressing the judge, you say you honor. If you want any clarification, you are always, if you have any questions, you ask in the third person, right? Your voice itself, be sure that people can hear you. It's clear, it's audible, they can understand what you say. It's very important. In the consecutive interpretation, when you provide that, speak clearly. Do not rush words. We all have accents. We are not Canadians, right? We do not always have that perfect accent. Even probably my accent might be terrible for some of you. But this is something that we have. So we need to train ourselves to at least try and provide the words and communication on the better level. So that's something that I encourage everyone to practice as well. I'm practicing too. Well, as you guys see, I can practice a lot every day now. So that's something that you have to keep in mind, right? Now, whenever we have that, whenever we speak, there's also that behavior. So do not walk around the courtroom randomly. That's the last thing you want to do, like just stand out and just keep walking somewhere there. Interpreters do that. No casual, random, crazy movements, because now they can consider that maybe there is something wrong with you. Maybe they will start considering you as a dangerous person to the environment. So don't make any weird moves as well. Just be yourself. Just be yourself. you do not want to, you should avoid any crossing between the judge and the other participants, right? So if during the proceeding, if the proceeding is active, it's running now. This can be like whenever you're going to start interrupting, well, it's going to start the distortion over there, and it's going to be disrespectful for everyone. So pretty much every small action will affect that. If you will start maybe, like I said, answering the phone call, gonna start ringing. You're gonna your chair gonna start moving around all the time and make noises. You're gonna try to reach something across the table over there. So yeah, those are things that will like draft just unnecessary attention. So do not stress out. Like we probably all have our something how we react to the stress. Maybe we can move a little bit more, maybe a little bit nervous and stuff. So yeah, just be sure that well, there is nothing gonna happen to you. Everything yours absolutely safe, absolutely everything is good. A lot of people is asking me like, I'm not sure if I'm fit for the role. Well, the first reason why you even have been asked to go over there and do the interpretation, like if we ask you already, that means that you most likely you are fit for the role, right? So that is something that you should not stress about at all. Now the interactions and the boundaries. So here, well, those boundaries are everywhere currently. Whenever we're talking about any interactions with people around us, but here it's one of the most important aspects, right? So in the courtroom, you need to know how to interact and how to interact and why to interact with people, right? So interpreters, first of all, do not engage ever, never a side conversation. You are not the person who's supposed to engage any conversation. You will do not chat with the defendant explaining the procedures, explaining the protocols. You are not responding to questions outside of the formal process. So again, if someone from the observer is going to start yelling, asking questions, you do not want to interact with. Okay. Even if you will see that your client looks absolutely confused and has no clue what's going on, or tries to speak to you directly, you have to keep those boundaries. And you have to tell at the beginning that you are here only for the interpretation. If you have any questions, direct them to the judge or to your lawyer. Okay? So all communication, no matter what, is always going through the court. That's number one. Here, those boundaries and interactions are totally on a different level. This is like totally high level here. Keep in mind that you're watched all the time. Like people are watching you all the time. The judge see you, and if you're gonna start hopping in those conversations, well, eventually they might remove you from the court. It's pretty serious. It's pretty serious, right? So we have to keep that in mind. Now, a quick example, if we can see that in a real life perspective. So if there's a question coming from the lawyer, you have to translate the question to the client, and after that the client will ask, well, what does that mean to me? Like what is it, right? So the first thing that you want to say, you will not explain. Instead of that, you, the interpreter, will interpret their question. That is pretty much the part of the procedure. So now, when you translate their question, what does that mean? From their language to English, you are absolutely clear and covered, because first of all, the judge hears that. Second, the lawyer hears that. And number three, it's recorded in the transcript. So you're clear that when you did everything according to the procedure, right? And after that, usually the judge or the lawyer will answer to that question, and you can interpret the answer to the person, right? So it's on the paper, in the theory, it kind of sounds very, very strict, but at the end of the day, you just keep in mind that you are covered in this case, and no one gonna have any issues saying like, oh, this interpreter did not translate that. So now the client doesn't even know what it means. So let's say they're charging him for something that he doesn't even know, and you didn't message that to them. Well, yeah, it can end up very bad, right? Now, the other side, if you're gonna start explaining them, and you have not really idea about that, well, that's again gonna be bad. So in this case, you are right away directing that the interpreter interpret this question to the court. Okay, now we have the mistakes. So how you can handle those mistakes? Because at the court, it's a little bit different, right? So mistakes will happen. Don't worry, we're just human, and those mistakes can happen. And believe me, probably we have here some experienced legal interpreters already who did mistakes as well by themselves, right? So what matters is how you handle that mistake. That is the important part, right? So if you realize that you made an error, there is a mistake, you must correct that mistake very, very fast, immediately, right away. Okay? Do never ignore or have a random hope that it's not going to be noticed. Keep in mind everything is recorded, so it will be noticed eventually. Another thing, it can also happen that the lawyer or the judge will also speak your language. And so there is possibility for that. And they're going to pick it up right away, right? So whenever you will make a mistake, correct it right away. So a kind of like a simple correction will help everyone else to like, yeah, it's in the record now. Okay, there was a tiny mistake. That was corrected. Not a big deal. Nothing happened. Okay. The worst thing is when you're not gonna state that there was a mistake. So always be sure that you are fixing that. You will again encounter all those emotions. But other than emotions, you will be a witness of the lawyer's frustration many times. So again, now you are not only not reacting to the emotions of the testimony here, but you also need to stay neutral to the lawyers as well, right? Do not react to that. Don't show them that you see that and now you are reacting to that. Because yeah, they might be frustrated if they're asking the same question 10 times. Eventually they might be frustrated at some point, right? The lawyers, again, they can be very impatient. That's where they're asking those questions very, very fast. They do not care about everyone else. That's where they want to just get it done sometimes, or they want to play that game with the with the witness or with the accused person, and they can be very impatient as well, right? So you are going totally opposite. You do not want to rush. You don't want to show them that you are panicking now because they're speaking too fast, right? You will still stay at your pace. So, and if it's needed, request to slow down if that's going to be necessary. You have an absolutely right to do that. So do never ever follow the lawyers when they're gonna start going like a rapid fire words quickly, and they're gonna be showing anger, frustration. No, you are absolutely right there to stop them up and say, interpreter is requesting for slowing down for accuracy of the interpretation again, right? Professional presence here, well, in the court session, well, those court sessions can be long, right? There can go up to 8 hours, maybe 10 hours sometimes. We had the cases where they were even during the weekends at the court. There is that monotony, the repetition, that mentally demanding situations where your brain will need breaks. So in that case, you still need to remember and stay strong and maintain that professionalism. If you will start at 8 and it's going to end at 4, you have to be sure that you are a same professional. You were at 8 a.m., you are the same professional at 4 p.m. Okay. Again, that's going to require some practice for sure. And it will come with the time. But when you are for this, you don't want to show the people that after 2 hours you are just feel bored, or you just don't care anymore, or you are just tired, or I hope not having a nap, falling asleep. So yeah, just keep that in mind that you want to stay professional as long as possible, right? Now, why does it matter? Because the more you're going to push your boundaries here, the more you're going to benefit in the future. And that will help you to stay focused during the case, the whole procedure. It will help you to be engaged in that, and you will not make mistakes. Your accuracy still need to be on the same level, right? When you start to be you will start to disengage yourself from the whole procedure after like 2-3 hours. You'll start to look something to do. You will feel that it's boring now. You will try to sneak your phone maybe to turn it on and just check it out maybe. And those things will start affecting not only how people gonna see you, but how you're gonna work during the procedure. So in these cases, it's very important to stay pretty much high alert the entire time. Again, the courtrooms, they have their own breaks. There is time, to just rest. I think they're doing like a 15 or 10 minutes, and then there's a lunch break, like an hour. Sometimes I hear there are even 2 hours sometimes for that. So it's very important. Another thing is that sometimes at the end of the case, well, they're just gonna send you home. They will just send you home and say, the court clerk, maybe they will say, well, you know what? We don't need you now, but we're gonna need you at the when the jury gonna provide the final statements, which gonna be, let's say, in 5 hours, right? So that means you don't have to be at the court for all this time to sit there. on the corridor or in the courtroom, they will just tell you like, hey, yeah, you can go home. We're done for now. We're just gonna need you later on for that. So it happens as well. Okay. So that's something that you can also keep in mind. So it's very important to stay the professional person over there. Questions? No? All right. Well, that's easy. All right. Do we have still time? Yes, we do. So communication. Communication protocols, that's going to be something that will stay with us probably forever till the end. But again, as an interpreter, you have to keep in mind your communication protocol and how to speak. So the rule number one, of course, everything needs to be said in the first person. Any questions need to be asked in the third person. And it's not just because it's a preference, it's more like a strict kind of like a code of ethics requirement. And the more you're going to practice now during WCB appointments and community sessions, the better you're going to do later in the future, right? So again, you don't want to say he says he didn't see anything or she didn't do that, or yeah, you don't want to go there. You have to stay focused and keep in mind first person. That's number one communication protocol here. And it's very important, right? Again, you are also not the person, let's say that everyone else are just the random mortals and they only listen. You are the higher level. You are processing the message. You are creating the story. And eventually, you are sending that message in your speech in real time. So that's where your brain works a little bit different than actual, like, let's say those observers, because now you are meant to provide a totally different speech. So you're listening to the sentence, you are pretty much have your short memory, and you are at the same time in your head preparing, delivering the message, right? So for anyone else, they're just listening. Nothing. For you, well, that's the whole process that is going through your head. That's why you're so special over there. That's why you're so different over there, right? The moment when, let's say, two people are going to speak at the same time, you're, again, the regular people, they're just going to listen to that. But for you, that's where your internal system will start to struggle, right? If there will be 3, 4, 5 people speaking at the same time, you will not be prepared for this. So again, others, they only listen what everyone else saying. For you, now you are processing all those 5 people. And you can't process all those messages at once. It's impossible. And that's why one of your protocols is to filter up the people that you don't want to hear, right? Also, that's where you coming up with telling people, hey, there is your turn, his turn, please speak one at a time, right? That's where you are making those boundaries, and it's a part of your communication protocol as well. So keep that in mind. Now, another thing is that everything that is said over there will affect your short-term memory your language, because now you have to provide accurate information. Your tone, your register matching, how you react, how you identify speakers as well. That's where the filtering is coming in. How you're gonna switch between them. So you need to be aware that it is like the entire structure, how you're supposed to work with your head and with your language and your speech, to, well, that you're gonna be different than just those random people watching and listening, right? So that's gonna be something that you need a lot of training for this, and you have to keep that in mind for sure, right? Now, very important is that expectation and control, right? So interpreters learn to communicate is about those breaking down those segments, right? That's where the chunking might be coming. That's where the making notes come in. You're gonna start to recognize the same patterns in the speech of different people. You will start to recognize, oh, okay, that's the fast speaker. I'm gonna keep eye on that one. This guy just keep talking the same. It's an overlapping dialogue going on. This one here, well, that looks like after you just look into their eyes, okay, that's the emotional person. So you're gonna recognize those different patterns here, and you will pretty much, by default, you will adjust to them right away after that, right? You will know, like, okay, for this, I probably gonna have to make notes. For this, I will have to ask to slow down right away on the first thing, right? Here, the proper segmentation gonna happen, right? So that's something that, well, now it might sound difficult, but at some point, it's gonna be like driving a car, right? It's gonna, like, you watching the street, you watching the mirror, you holding the wheel, you still adjusting the the speed. So all those things at the same time, and the same thing will happen when you do interpretation, pretty much as well, right? But yes, eventually you will start noticing those patterns, and you will be able to control them, and that will help. That will help a lot. And instead of just waiting to see what people say, how they react, you're gonna be prepared ahead of that, just to watching people, how they talk between each other, how they react, what is their body language. You will see all those things. So that's something that you will eventually learn, right? All right, well, pretty much all. So just to kind of like summarize quickly, well, the courtroom, again, it's not a casual conversation room. You are not there to make friends. It's structured, it's legal, strict, and you still gonna deal with the law. So you have to keep that in mind, right? Kind of environment, again, there's a hierarchy, there is a procedure. So a lot is going on. You have the judges, you have the lawyers, like the witnesses, a lot of people going on, running around there. So yeah, also all these people can speak at one time, so it can create a chaos. So that's where you need to take care of the situation. You'll be under the pressure many times. You're gonna manage that fast speech, emotionals, people, overlaps, terminology. That's something that you will need to practice a lot by yourself, and learn what also might be the best equivalent words in your language for the legal terminology here. a lot of different challenges, so it's not that easy. Again, well, it's easy and not easy. So there might be easy cases and might be very difficult cases. Again, we have provincial court, we have the federal court, so we never know. All you have to do, focus on your protocols, focus on your ethic, focus on this, how to be professional, discipline, and do not wear Crocs to that or bring coffee, right? And after that, you should be fine. So again, before any of you who did not went to the court yet, I know that some of you already went to the court from here. But for all of you who did not went to the court yet, there is a lot of time to practice. You can practice during the WCB appointments. You can practice during maybe the medical appointments as well. All those sessions have a lot in common anyway. They're pretty much the same procedures, it's just the different settings, right? So again, be yourself, don't panic, and just finish the job. That's it. Be professional, right? Okay. Questions, concerns? We have a couple more minutes. Come on, guys. Okay, there are some in the chat. This is about the tier courtrooms. Kind of yes and no. Well, no, not the tier courtrooms. Just general courtrooms, kind of. As the judge in the third person, yes, the interpreter is asking for clarification or slowing down or asking for this or for that. Always in the third person, you are asking the judge, providing interpretation in the first person. Nothing? Oh, that's pretty disappointing. All right, let me catch someone. Who is here professional? Where are my interpreters, court interpreters? Raise your hands. Where are you guys? You're hiding too. Surinder. Are you there? Surinder. Hi. Right. She's not. Well, I guess we don't have many court people today. Well, that's okay. All right. Well, if there's no questions, no concerns, that's okay. Again, I hope it was a little bit handy to know how does it work from the inside, not just randomly telling you guys, oh, it's just a court hearing. Oh yes, Yanina, please tell me. I want to hear your question.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I have a quick question. So, for example, we're interpreting for the whoever is at the witness stand. Let's say it's the witness, accused, whatever. And then if, let's say, a lawyer or the representative of the crown is talking, formulating a question, and the client addresses something, like says something, interrupts basically them, but for example in a lower voice that only me who is sitting next to them hear it, how can I, because obviously if it is addressed to the prosecution or just a comment, it still needs to be interpreted, how should I interrupt the person who is currently speaking in order to interpret what the client said?
So pretty much they're both speaking at the same time.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So he's whispering, the guy actually. So here, well, obviously the lawyer is the first person. So you need to deliver that question. Whatever the person is whispering, I recommend to make notes.
Okay.
If it's important question, if it's related important question, then you can during whenever. Okay, wait, how to say that? All right, so the lawyer is asking the question, have you been there at 5 p.m., for example? And the person whispering to you will say, I want to go to bathroom. Well, yeah, you ignore that, right? But if the person will say like, I want to provide clarification, or I want to provide a statement or something, you can interrupt the lawyer, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah, totally. It's just what's the better way to do it? Raise a hand
Wait
or
till they finish. Well,
okay.
so usually wait till they finish the question. But now also during your interpretation from the client side, you still need to keep in head the question that you need to again translate, right?
Interpret
So,
later
yeah,
to the
yeah,
client. Yeah,
yeah. So
obviously.
usually, I would say by the rule, just the courtesy of just being a nice person, just let them finish the sentence.
Okay. Okay, sounds good.
That can help.
Thank you.
Sure. All right. Anyone else or not? Fine. Oh my. All right. So we're done for today. Tomorrow is medical, and then Friday is off, and then we're coming back again on Monday. Again, whoever want to do the exams for modules 1 to 5, legal and medical, I have open spots currently Friday after 12 p.m. till 5. So what I'm gonna do, I will just run this Zoom meeting from 12 till 5, and if you want to join, just join, and yeah, I'll be here. Okay. And that's how we can do it, and probably we're gonna keep doing this until whoever want to do the exams, and then after that we're gonna do the final exams about the hard part. All right. Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much for coming, finding the time for me. I really appreciate you guys for listening to me all this time. I hope you don't have nightmares.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you,
Thank you for your
Peter.
time, Peter.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peter.